Put it all together, Kellyanne.
Hey, Chris, I love the New York Times article. I thought it was terrific because basically it says that Hillary Clinton went to blame and shame the women who had consensual sex with her husband over a number of years. I mean, well, not all of us, but those who don't remember can go Google it. Her on 60 Minutes in 1992, sitting by her husband, plaintively nodding her head in silence while he lied to the country about not having an affair with Jennifer Flowers, only to discover the very next day there were tapes confirming that affair, audio tapes. And what was Hillary Clinton's first instinct? It wasn't to be angry at her husband, according to this New York Times report. It was to blame the woman and dig up dirt on her. And I commend this New York Times story for everybody because it shows how Hillary Clinton reacts when people around her, in this case her husband, have done something to wrong her. She goes right after the innocent people. And I think it's very important because even Gloria Allred is quoted in this New York Times article as somebody who was a Clinton delegate to the convention, Chris, somebody you and I both know and I'm sure respect mightily, but she says, listen, it's terrible that you would try to dig up a woman's sexual past and hire a private investigator. And then she goes on to say, I don't think Hillary should have done that, but hey, I like her position on abortion.
I saw that, yeah.
This is how she treated those, this is how she treated those women.
Generally, Gloria Allred said she liked her. Let me ask you about the Associated Press story that ran today, attacking with all kinds of comments, not all on one side, some defending Donald Trump about his behavior as head of Apprentice and his backstage behavior matching some of his rough behavior lately. What do you make of that kind of set of charges? Do you think it was all a put-up job by the other side, or what do you think?
Look, The Apprentice was one of the most successful shows in its day, and it generated many opportunities, including, if not especially, for women who participated. I mean, Omarosa is one of our best surrogates, most ardent supporters of Donald Trump. She obviously was there the first or second season, I believe. And I think some folks just, there's publicity to get. There are scores to settle if they didn't win. But I was especially excited to see the number of people who came forward and said this was a wonderful experience for them when they were on The Apprentice. And look, I can take you upstairs here in Trump Tower, Chris, any day of the week and introduce you to women who have worked for Donald Trump for years, if not decades.
Okay, let's talk about what we all know.
Nothing but great things to say about him as a boss.
Okay, let's talk about what we see. Why was he making fun of Hillary Clinton physically this weekend?
Have you heard what she says about him in a given day? Did you watch her in that debate?
Why does he call her, well, he calls her crazy, a criminal, lock her up is the song, the big slogan out there. Why does he make fun of her physically? That she had, everybody knows she had pneumonia and she had a heart, she basically collapsed. Why do you make fun of somebody who collapsed because of a sickness? Why is that funny?
Well, first of all, when she collapsed on 9/11 and her campaign lied about it for a number of hours, including if not especially to all of you in the press. No, he said nothing. He said nothing that whole day. He was completely quiet. And since then, she's done nothing but attack him. That aspirational, uplifting, optimistic campaign, her campaign promised, that's gone. And all they do is attack Donald Trump. Their entire campaign is about Donald Trump. He talks about issues, they talk about him. So if he wants to go out there and talk about her fitness for office, whether it's her record as Secretary of State, her unremarkable record as Senator, or her stamina, then he's welcome to do that. Why is he supposed to be the victim who just rolls over every time she
let's talk about the big story this weekend, which is taxes. The New York Times basically reported they got somebody walked into there apparently with an address of Trump Tower. I have no idea who the source was. This tipster put it in the mailbox of this report at the Times. She put it in the paper, which basically Trump got a $900 million tax loss in 1995, which apparently can be spread among a number of years to his advantage. Taking a tax loss like this, what does it do to his image as a guy looking out for the regular guy out there, regular person? So how's it match up with that image?
Sure. So Donald Trump is the art of the comeback. He wrote a whole book about it. Most people couldn't absorb a loss like that and reinvest it over the year, take those losses, carry them forward, that the tax code allows you to do. No one, including the New York Times, denies that it's all legal. Donald Trump has spent hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes over the years. Federal payroll taxes, state, city, and local taxes, excise, property, real estate. And so let's not forget that he's paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. I verified that number with his accountants and his lawyers, Chris. And on this one, very few people were betting on New York. A lot, and he did. He bet on New York. The job creation, the community revitalization. And this is the American entrepreneurial story. The tax code allows you to carry forward these losses. The New York Times in no way says that he did not not pay taxes for 18 years. It says that this loss could have allowed him not to pay taxes. He may not have.
Fair
Nobody
enough.
knows
I'm
that
talking
for
politics
sure.
here. You're talking defensive, but let me ask you this. He has made statements attacking Americans who don't pay taxes. Some people poor who aren't making enough income to pay taxes. Others who are making money on the hedge fund operators, and they're not paying taxes. He has made that wrong. He has said it's wrong not to pay taxes per se. Well, why isn't he wrong?
He's paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes.
If it's wrong per se not to pay tax. Now, when he says, well, that year, do you think he paid 95? Do you think he paid any taxes with a $900 million tax loss?
But I think that's why you have. I think that's why you have a couple of pieces of paper from 1 year, 21 years ago, because there were years, I'm sure, where he was very profitable.
Well, we could have more, Kellyanne.
And paid an awful lot.
If he'd released them.
And paid an awful lot in taxes.
Well, the only reason we have that little bit of paper that you just minimize is because somebody basically outed him, at least on one return. And the question you have to ask yourself is, if a little bit of information is bad for the guy, maybe a lot of information is better, but the public isn't going to think that unless you show the paper. They're going to think it's worse.
Chris, but as you said in your earlier segment, not everyone's going to think that's bad. A lot of people will think this is what entrepreneurs do. They carry forward those losses over time, and that's what the tax code allows you to do. I also want to say this guy's built things his whole life: buildings, projects, public work, projects, careers, opportunities. I mean, Hillary Clinton has destroyed. What job has she ever created? What does she know about job creation? It's just remarkable. I mean, let's give the guy his due as a successful businessman who's hired thousands of people over the years, thousands of women over the years. He's elevated some of them to the highest positions in his corporation, and certainly his campaign. Thank you, Chris.
I think he should refocus on the things that got him this far. Dance with the one that brung you: illegal immigration, bad trade deals that cost this country. It's a manufacturing base, and stupid wars. Talk, it's a perfect storm. Get back to that. Forget Machado. That's a loss. Move on. There's a tax loss. Move on.
Great advice.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.